So it's been a while since I made one of these videos. Today we're looking at karate through Muay Thai techniques, specifically looking at upper body clinching techniques and lower body sweeps, or just foot sweeps in general. Of course, there are a lot more similarities between these two styles, but I wanted to highlight these two as a very obvious way to compare the two and find some parallels. So the stereotypical Muay Thai fighter has a long range of really good roundhouse kicks, good teeps or front push kicks, good boxing looking strikes, jabs, straights, hooks, etc. And then once you get into the clinch range, they do have a great striking repertoire of elbows and knees and stuff like that. But what's overlooked, at least here in the Western world, when it turns to Muay Thai, is their very sneaky, very technical clinch fighting. And a lot of it you'll see in the gym versus in actual matches just based on the rule set. But you got a lot of things like hand fighting and swimming for underhooks. You also have the consideration of having gloves while trying to do all these things and trying to manipulate for an inside position on your opponent while not having the ability to grip using your fingers or your hands. Of course, they are gripping with their gloves and stuff and trying to manipulate the upper body, and also they're using their elbows and their armpits to pinch limbs and everything like that. But you get a very interesting take on the clinch fighting that's found in karate if you study Muay Thai.
And from there I've got all this clinch stuff, I can start putting this in as well. You know what I mean? I can wedge through the middle, I can come through, I can do there's another elbow. You can really start to play with it and make it live.
So as I touched on earlier, one thing to highlight are the swimming techniques, or the ability to pummel and work for inside position. And if you aren't able to create inside position, then you're trying to push off and create space so that you could add one of your medium range strikes like elbows and knees, or push off enough so that you can throw a long range strike. In addition to clinch fighting and trying to swim for inside position, you also have an emphasis on using your stances as a way to manipulate your opponent and get them off center, and also get angles on your opponent as well. So just like a wrestler would do, they're trying to move and get 45 degrees to their opponent or take their back and stuff like that. The rationale here is that you want to get away from both of their weapons, both of their limbs, and also negate the striking power of the far side limb. For example, if someone's left arm is far away from you, it's going to take a lot more effort for them to try to touch you or try to hit you, and they would have to get around your center to find a better angle for themselves. So now if you're in a clinch range and you can't get a strike, or your arms are tangled up, or if you are able to get to an inside position, then it makes sense to try to take your opponent down or sweep them. So a lot of the sweeps you find in karate katas are turns, 180 turns, 360 turns, 90-degree turns, and you'll see this movement a lot in Muay Thai as well when they're trying to move off the center line and take their opponent down to where they just were. So if you imagine you're standing in one spot and you're trying to throw somebody into that same spot where you're standing, you're going to move off the line and use your limbs or your arms to pull them into that spot. Well, it makes sense. If you need to trip them up, then you got to stick your foot out there and they're going to trip over that foot. So a lot of the Muay Thai sweeps happen this way. You are in the clinch range, you're trying to go for strikes. You can't hit each other very effectively since it's short distance. Somebody establishes this very powerful clinch, and then from there they're able to manipulate the opponent's center, move them off center, and then go for a sweep. If somebody throws a kick or somebody throws a knee and you catch that leg, you're scooping it up, and then something else happens right afterwards. Either a strike happens, or you're moving off center, or you're getting an angle, or you're sweeping that person's foot out. Alright, so here's some bonus footage from some sparring sessions I've had in the past. So there are some key things to keep in mind here. You always want to think an altercation or the sparring match or the fight starts from a distance, and then something happens that makes the distance close, right? So then you find yourself in the clinch range. Either you initiate that, the opponent initiates that, or you guys are both initiating that by both shooting in. But once you're in the clinch range, you are now in this exchange where you're looking to find an angle on the opponent, you're looking to control limbs, you're looking to use your elbows and knees to strikes and kind of soften up and change up the opponent's trajectory. There are headbutts in here as well. And this is also where the takedowns happen, right? So unless you're trying to blast through your opponent with a double leg, or you're trying to blast through them with that step behind takedown, most of your sweeps and turns are going to happen in the clinch range. So here my training partner was being nice to me, threw a really slow roundhouse kick. I was able to catch that and sweep it. Here I threw a front snap kick, shot in. Notice I'm controlling his knee, and I was able to do that knee tap takedown. Here he tried to throw me over with an overhook. I was able to get my underhook and establish my own takedown from there. Here I'm trying to pepper him with some elbows and knees from a distance. Notice I have that grip on his wrist. There he tried to throw a reverse punch, and I threw a kick down low to kind of keep his hands low, and I was able to shoot in. So these are our moments of exchanges that lend itself to this clinch fighting methodology. Hope you enjoy.